Welcome viewers, I am Halim Mandal, editor of Not Only News. You are watching Not Only News channel. In Not Only News e-talk right now Mr. Swapan Kumar Nath, a teacher of English language with me. Mr. Nath is an assistant teacher at Chapardaho Duke Institution in Howrah district. He is also a renowned writer. Welcome Mr. Nath in our channel.
Welcome Mr. Halim Mandal.
Okay, let's start our conversation. In e-talk today, my discussion with Mr. Nath about the influence of online classes upon the mind of the students. Now, we the people of the world are suffering from an acute pandemic COVID situation that made all the normal regular system paralyzed. The students are the worst victim. They cannot enjoy offline classes. They depend on online classes. Mr. Nath, first of all, I would like to ask you a question, that is, what are the impact of online class to the students?
Well, before I discuss about the influence of online classes on the mind of the students, I have to say that online system has both advantages and disadvantages. In the wake of lockdown following the COVID-19 pandemic, it came as a blessing in disguise for many schools and their students. Before that, it was not practiced in our schools and colleges. First of all, the University of Toronto introduced the first online course in the world. It enables the students to study from any place with a proper internet connection of their own places. But now, it has become a daily phenomenon.
Okay.
The most disadvantages and the influence on online classes are: online classes is scheduled to the honesty of the class lessons. Honesty means the students can cheat their teachers during the online classes. It has also a limited interaction with the teachers. The students, those who are shy, they cannot interact or they do not show interest in making interaction with their teachers. At the same time, the students are giving more attention to the screen. It is overexposure to the screen that can harm their eyesight. So it has also a bad influence upon the mind of the students. At the same time, online classes makes the students isolated from their peer friends, their teachers. The students do not have face-to-face interaction with their teachers, because in case of teaching, body language is more important. A teacher can present his subject dramatically, and the students can interact with the teachers directly. That is why a student who is very much fond of a teacher, he also takes interest in taking the class of the teachers whom he likes most. But online classes, there is a little bit of scope of making interaction with the teachers. So here, if a student does not require his motivation in taking the online classes should not be beneficial. And at the same time, cheating during online classes and cheating prevention during the online classes are very much complicated. That is why the students sometimes feel enthusiastic and they also have enthusiasm in taking online classes. But the days passed on, the students become frustrated. They feel melancholy as they do not have interaction with their friends and their teachers. So it brings a bad influence, a fatal influence upon the mind of the students.
Okay, Mr. Nath. I would like to ask you, do you think, Mr. Nath, online learning affects everyone?
Definitely, before the introduction of online classes by Toronto University, it was practiced in the university level. But now it has become a daily activity, daily phenomena in the lives of the students from kids class, from 1 class to 12 classes. It also causes a feedback limitation. Here, feedback is very limited. In online classes, the students are scheduled to just one subject in a single matter. They cannot discuss in detail on a subject. That is why the students are limited to one subject. There is a little bit of scope of discussing various types of topics. But that was practiced in offline classes. So it also affects to inculcate their excellence of the subject matters. A student may have possessed excellence in also argument, also in writing poems. But whenever a class is scheduled for a essay writing, a student who is fond of writing poem, he does not take interest in taking the classes where a paragraph lesson is being taught. That is why limitation is very much problematic thing in the case of the online classes. That is why a student does not take a proper initiative in learning various topics or miscellaneous subjects, that is, or which is very much available in the classes, offline classes. Face-to-face interaction with the teachers make a student more prominent or more enthusiastic in learning various subjects from a teacher. That is why I think online classes affects the mind of the students, those who are very young in their attitude. And also during this stage, the students want to make interaction with his teachers physically, because a teacher's voice, his gesture, his language of his speaking language, his way of speaking, everything is attracted by the student, which is not seen, which is not available in the online class. That is why it affects the minds of the students.
Mr. Nath, there are so many questions in my mind. Does it affect young children, adults, teachers and professors? I would like to get a comment about it.
Definitely, it has become a trend, especially during period of COVID-19 lockdown in 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
It is very convenient as both students and teachers can interact from their own places. But the online study method become more and more unhealthy whenever the students want to make interaction with the teachers. But it is also useful in the case of a natural calamity of emergency. So, many schools and colleges have opened or run online classes for the safety of the students.
Right.
Definitely, it is also a merit.
Right.
But, however, online classes lacks the field of with enthusiasm, a kind of environment presented by a classroom lesson. Teachers and students may interact with each other, only one subject matters on one by one basis. At the same time, the teachers and the students expose themselves to gadgets, online to internet gadgets, and it presents its own health hazards like headache, weak sight, and lack of concentration, both in the mind of the teachers and students. Both the teachers and students may be affected with the overexposure to the screen for the use of gadgets, and it also brings mental health weak sight, etc., etc. So definitely online classes also affects the teachers, students, and also the various persons who are inclined to these online classes.
Right. Well said, Mr. Nath. Mr. Nath, I would like to ask you, what is the students' performance on online learning?
The students, most of the students are serious. Definitely, most of the students are very serious.
Yeah.
The students, those who are serious in their offline classes, they are also serious in their online classes. Definitely. But the students, those who are very much careless for their study, and those who do not show proper interest in their classes, they also do not show their proper interest in online classes, because switching, but they switch on the camera, sometimes off, or sometimes
they minimize the online classes, and they watch other things.
Definitely, they are on the online classes. Despite taking the classes, despite hearing the class lecture of the teachers, they indulge themselves in another activity.
Right.
During the online classes, they also are inclined to watching different type of unwanted movies, etc., etc. And the young students, boys and girls, are very much addicted to internet,
right,
porn site.
Right.
It is also a very detrimental for the development of society, because it harms the mind of the young students.
This is
because
very serious matter also.
Definitely, I found from my own experience, I found that most of the 11, 12 class students, they are very much addicted to internet, and for that they show more interest in watching different type of unexpected banned porn videos, which is very much detrimental to making their career uplifted for future. And so their future is doomed sometimes. At this moment, they are very much they show more interest in studying, but they give more interest in their performance, which is not expected during this period and in student period life.
Mr. Nath, if I ask you, what is the negative impact on online classes? What is your opinion about this?
There are so many negative impacts
of
online classes. First of all, its feedback. Online classes feedback is limited. It can cause social isolation. The students are isolated from society. The students are isolated from their relatives, kith and kins.
You are right.
It also decays the strong self-motivation of the students. And it also makes them that they should give proper time for making time management skill. But the students cannot make time management skill. And it also, it provides lack of communication with the teachers with whom he should interact more and more. And at the same time, subject is not properly discussed in detail in online classes because the time is fixed.
Right.
Online class is fixed for 30 minutes. During that period, your internet should be there. Internet connection should be there. If one thing is unavailable, then the classes is not conducted. So, online classes also provides or also has many advantages, but I think it has more disadvantages because the most important point that I told earlier, the students are isolated from society. The students are isolated from their teachers. The students are isolated from their peer friends. So this is very bad influence upon the mind of the students.
Mr. Nath, there is an important question that is, does it affect students' mental health? I want a broad answer.
Definitely.
Because this is a very serious question.
The spirit of youthfulness, the spirit of kind-heartedness, which is remain latent in the mind of the students, that are also inculcated whenever they find their friends and their peers in school. Whenever they come in contact with their friends, their dear friends, they can share their feelings, their thoughts and ideas with their friends. But during online classes, they do not get time to share their ideas and thoughts with their peer friends. And that is why they make themselves confined in their own classroom, that is his home.
Right.
So, for a long period of absence and separation from the students, from their boyfriends or their girlfriends, classmates, they become frustrated. They become disappointed. So, sometimes they are mentally disbalanced. I found most of the students, those who are very shy in their house, but whenever they go to school, after finding their friends, his dear and near friends, he become enthralled, he become excited to talk with them. So, the student's mind is jeopardized. The student's mind, youth, and their tender mentality, their humanity towards their friends is being jeopardized. I think it is a high time to take initiative from the government that the schools and colleges should be opened. If it is going on with the willing of the government, our society will be in a position and a critical juncture will come in the minds of the students. So I think it is a high time for government to concentrate over the situation which is going on. So after maintaining sanitization, everything that should be maintained for the combat of pandemic situation, the government should take proper initiative in opening the schools and colleges and universities for the sake of mankind, for the sake of education, for the sake of our society. Because if education is destroyed, if health is destroyed, everything will be destroyed. So I think to cheer up the students' mind, the schools and colleges of universities should be opened within a short time. This is my appeal as a teacher of English language.
Well said, Mr. Nath. I am agree with you that school, colleges and universities should be opened for the sake of our society, for the sake of our children's. I would like to ask you, Mr. Nath, do you believe that students are depending on technology?
Definitely, finding no alternative.
Yeah.
As the schools and colleges remain closed, so the students are mostly depending upon technology.
Yeah.
Technology means internet connection,
Right.
smartphone, mobile phone, laptop, gadgets, internet gadgets, everything are necessary and useful things for the students. And the students are mostly depending upon this technology. Definitely we cannot give a single step without technology, because we are in the era of modern science. We are in the era of computer science. Definitely we cannot give a single step without the help of the computer science, without the help of the technology. Definitely. But according to Einstein, I would like to quote that Einstein said before the scientist, the science is the blessings of human being, but the scientist must think at a time that if science brings cars, the scientists should make themselves pause in their discovery or in their invention. But definitely the scientists must indulge themselves in inventing their own discoveries, because without technology, the whole modern world should not run.
Right.
But during this period, the students, as they depend on technology most, it also brings definitely a hazards that is related to their mental health or their physical health. Excessive use of mobile smartphone, the students' brain can be harmed and their thought of mind can be seized, according to the scientists. So, as the students
Mr.
depend
Nath,
on technology,
sometimes they forget to eat food also.
definitely sometimes whenever they are very much inclined to internet uses, sometimes they do not also get, they do not want to get proper food. They give more time to internet uses, and they are very much fascinated by these internet uses.
That's why, Mr. Nath, if I ask you that how students are affected in their mental, physical and emotional health.
In my discussion also I discussed, but this is also a very good question from you.
Yeah.
First of all, I deal with the students of 11 and 12 classes, 9 and 10 classes students. They are just crossing their adolescence period. Whenever we were the students in our school's campus, or whenever the students of our college and school life, we would give more time in reading storybooks, novels and dramas, and that would give inspiration, and we were prompted for reading different type of novels of writers and authors. But now the students do not have or don't have any enthusiasm of going through the storybooks, because a mobile is a storehouse
Right.
of novels and dramas and everything.
Well
Whenever
said, well said.
whenever they go to Google, they search for a drama, they search for a novel, and they find it on their gadget. It is very easy for them to find a word, not going to a dictionary not opening the pages of a dictionary. They just go through they go to Google, they search for a word and they find out the meaning of the word. That is why their mind inculcation is very much limited. That is why the students do not inculcate or exercise their brain power, their thought power, their ideas, because they get ready-made answer. For that, to get ready-made answer, they do not prepare themselves, or they do not want to exercise or to read more and more. That is why their mental health is also seized day by day. I think it is a very dangerous for the new generations, those who will be the future, I think, future citizen of our country, not only country, but also the world. Because the whole world has become a global village. The whole world has become a global village.
Right.
So it is a problem not only of our country, it is the problem for all people of the globe, of this earth.
Mr. Nath, I have a good question. I would like to ask you, does online class cause a division between have and have not students? What do you say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We want, and we also always hear the digitalized country, the digital country.
Yeah.
It is also a good, I think, message.
Yeah.
But this is a dream still in our country.
Yeah.
Most of the students in villages, remote villages, they do not have any smartphone.
Yeah.
They do not use internet interaction.
Yeah.
In our middle, I think, in our middle class schools, I mean Bengali medium schools,
Yeah.
where I teach, definitely it is also urban town, urban city. Here also, a major portion of students cannot use smart mobile phone.
Mr. Nath, if you go to Jungle Mahal, there will be so many students who don't have any mobile.
Definitely, in that area, Jungle Mall that you uttered, here, they do not get proper food.
Right.
They do not get proper food. Whenever in the morning their parents think that how much they can feed their daughters and their sons, in that situation, the use of mobile phone is nothing but a luxury, a dream, the thought of utopian countries, people. It is an utopian thought that they use mobile phone. So,
Mr.
the
Nath,
students, those who,
in Jungle Mahal, sometimes parents send their students to school to get some midday meals also.
definitely, most of the students in villages, not only Jungle Mahal,
Yeah.
in every district of our country,
Yeah.
the most of the students and most of the sons and daughters are sent to school from their parents forcefully only to have midday meal.
Right.
They go to school only to have midday meal. So, the use of mobile phone, the use of internet, it is to be eaten or it is to be bought from market, they do not know. Either it is to be bought from market or it is to be eaten, they do not know. So, it is a kind of thinking of a vessel, a gold vessel made of stone. It is a gold vessel made of stone. বাংলায় যাকে বলি সোনার পাথর বাটি.
Right. Okay, Mr. Nath. Mr. Nath, we know many poor families cannot afford a smartphone, mobile phone, as well as internet access. What is your opinion about this?
Definitely, I discussed, I told earlier
Sometimes it is found that they have mobile phones, smartphones, but don't have any money to recharge the internet connection.
definitely, somehow they managed to buy a smartphone or a smart mobile phone.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is found that they
Now,
cannot
now
recharge.
internet package is also costly.
Definitely, definitely due to costly internet charges, sometimes though they have though they have mobile phone, sometimes they cannot recharge their mobile phone due to their poverty, because they have no sufficient money for buying their daily needs. They do not have sufficient money for buying their daily needs, their foods, their commodities, which are very much useful to run a daily life. So in that situation, in that critical juncture, sometimes they cannot recharge their mobile. So in spite of possessing a mobile phone in their own custody, they cannot also use their mobile phone when properly needed. When properly needed, that is, the students, when they should use the internet mobile during the online classes, they abstain themselves from using their mobile phone only because they are not capable of recharging their mobile, as the internet charge is very much costly.
Right, right. Mr. Nath, we are about to end the program. So, this is my last question to you. My last query is how are the young students misled to internet uses? I want a broad answer from you.
It is a very fatal question. It is a very, very, I think, exemplary question from your
Yeah.
end. From my experience, I found
Yeah.
that the students of 11 and 12 classes, or be a first year, second year, mostly 11 and 12 classes,
Yeah.
are very much fond of internet connection. It is often found that despite using mobile phone as the commodity of using for the good purpose, they are also using this mobile phone as a purpose of making so many fun videos, games. Few games are very much detrimental for the young generation. And by watching those games, a lot of young boys prone to committing suicide. We
Right,
have
right.
found
Well
by
said, well
reading
said, well said,
newspaper,
Mr. Nath.
most of the student young boys, after watching video games, they committed suicide, being prompted by watching that type of games. This is one part. Second part,
Mr. Nath, Blue Whale, Free Fire,
yeah,
so many games, they are addicted.
definitely that you
Yeah.
mentioned the game's name.
Yeah.
They are
And
addicted to that.
PUBG also.
PUBG also, they are
Yeah.
also very much addicted to that games.
Yeah.
But which is very detrimental now. It is often found that most of the young girls, out of fun and out of showing their love towards their lovers, they sometimes do so many harmful activities, and they are exposed publicly. Their inner activities, they are the things that should remain very much close to themselves, that are exposed publicly. And out of fun, they do this. And whenever they realize that they have done crime, a lot of students, young girls and boys, committed suicide, because finding no alternative. Because whenever they found that we have done a social crime, they committed suicide. So, the most of the young girls, boys and girls, they are addicted to watching different type of videos, which is not only detrimental, but also it will bring a destruction in their lives. It will bring out a destruction in their lives. It will bring forth the decay and destruction in the lives of the students, and their lives are nipped in the bud. The life that should run promisingly, those lives are nipped in the bud, because the youth, their green stage, whenever they are in the prime stage, whenever the time is for reading and making their career and making their future career, during that period, they are inclined and addicted to internet uses, which is not properly used. And that is why most of the students, they do not make their life, make their career updated, uplifted or developed. And that is why whenever they think, whenever they find that their life is in a bad condition, is not in a stable condition, they sometimes become mentally disbalanced. Few of them become bohemian, and few of them commit to suicide. So it is a dangerous tendency from the students, those who do not properly think that how much a smart mobile phone should be used. They should think, they should ponder over the situation. They should think over the merit and demerit of the internet uses. But it is not found by the students, because I think it should be, the advice should be given by the parents. Because charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. The fathers and mothers should be very much cautious of these uses, of these bad uses of the mobile phone.
Well said.
Whenever a boy, whenever a son cries that, Mama, I want to have a smart mobile phone, being prompted by motherly love, being prompted by fatherly love, they just go to market and buy mobile phone and give it on the day of their birthday. On the day of their birthday, they give their sons and daughters a mobile smartphone. But they do not know how his or his daughter should use that type of mobile phone. So this should be thought of by the parents and by the guardians. So it is high time for all the guardians, for all the parents, and that they should think over the bad or uses of the, smart mobile phone. Definitely smart mobile phone has its merits, and definitely has its merits. We can now, so we can do so many things staying at home with the help of smart mobile phone. But that should not be, I think that should not be used in a bad way. So this is a very proper time for the parents and guardians, and the teachers also should be very much cautious of their students' activity. Whenever they take the classes, they should think and they should watch that their students are diverting in the class during the online classes, as because the offline classes is not done during this period. So whenever the online classes is going on, the students, the teachers, and mainly the teachers should be very much aware of the students' performance during the online classes. I think it is proper time for all of us.
Well said, Mr. Nath. And thank you, Mr. Nath. We are happy to hear your valuable comments. Now we are going to finish the program here. At the end, I am congratulating you for coming to our channel. Till then, best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
thank you,
my viewers, for watching this program. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Haliman.